Hello and welcome to Asher Siegel Code's first video. This has been in the making for a while and I'm finally glad to be putting it out. Today we're going to be reviewing a BlackJack project that I made in Java, and this is going to be in Java Swing, not in the console. Let's get right started. We're going to be going over some methods and just sort of how I made the game, just like a little run through. So here we have our first basic class, the card class, and this is basically just a construct of a card. So here we have suits, which you can get the value of, a rank, which can be held up here as an instance variable, and then the card value. And then this get pick card method basically just returns a string of a little emoji of the card. So if the rank is 1 and the suit is 1, it's going to be returning an ace of spades and so on. And then let's go down and we can get the name of a card. This was for the console that was no longer being used, and it would just return ace if the rank was 1, and so forth. Jack if the rank was 11, queen if it was 12, and king if it was 13, and the value of all of these would be 10, except for the ace could be 1 or 11. Alright, now we're going to go to deck, and this deck class has an instance variable of an array list, and in the constructor, this non-parameterized constructor, it just creates a deck of 52 cards and adds it to the array list. And the shuffle, basically, it takes the pre-existing deck and reshuffles it completely. And here is the algorithm for that. It makes another array list. And then this draw card from deck, it creates a new card and returns it. And it removes the top card from the deck. And this get list method just returns the deck. This toString we don't need to worry about because we are working in Java Swing, not Java Console. Here we have the hand class. And now this is a non-parameterized constructor, I apologize, of the hand, and it just makes a new array list. And add card to hand, what it does is it just adds a card, the card object, to the hand, which is the array list up here. It's the instance variable hand. Reset hand just clears the array list. Is BlackJack, so what this does is it calculates all of the cards in the hand and gets the card value, which we saw in the card class. And if the sum is equal to 21, it returns true. If not, it is false. This method is bust. It just returns true if the value of this hand is greater than 21 and false otherwise. Hand size just returns how many cards are in the hand. Get hand value, this is a little bit of a more complex method, and just a quick run of what this does is that it can calculate with aces. So if the hand is greater than 20, if the hand value is greater than 21, then and there is an ace, then it'll take down by 10. For example, if you have like a jack and a 3 and an ace, it wouldn't be 24, it would be 14. 5-card Charlie, this is not implemented in the Java Swing edition. So what this does is if you have more than 5 cards in your hand and you're under 21, then you automatically win the hand. Hand list just returns the hand, and this toString was also just for the console. And now let's go to the shoe. So a shoe can be recognized as multiple decks. So what this one does is it would prompt the user for how many decks they would want to play with in the console, and that number M would be how many decks there would be. Then it would just make that many number decks. Here is the non-parameterized constructor. Shuffle shoe is the same thing as shuffling the deck, except with just more cards. Reshuffle shoe, if there are a certain amount of cards in the shoe that have been played with, then it just automatically reshuffles. Draw card from shoe, it's the same thing as drawing card from the deck. It just takes the top card and then removes it. And then that's it. And now let's go to player. So this class is also fairly simple. Here's the parameterized constructor. You have a name, a bankroll, and then a hand. This was all in the console, by the way. We will see how this will all be implemented into Java Swing here in just a moment. Add player card to hand. What it does is it takes a card and adds it to the hand, which we can see. Get player hand, it just returns the hand, returns if the hand is a bust, resets the player hand. These are all fairly simple and self-explanatory Java methods. And now let's go to, we already did, let's go to dealer. Here we go. So this is where all of the magic happens. So here, public class dealer, we have to extend it from the J panel so we're able to access that and implement an action listener. So we are always aware of the components that we are using. We want the action listener to be listening for any clicks, drags, anything entered. So all of these instance variables we take out of scope in what we do. We don't want to put them inside of any methods or anything because we're going to want to use some of them in multiple methods. So what we do is we declare all of them as instance variables private so we can't access them from other classes as well. So here we can see like a hit button. We'd want to use that in multiple occasions and we want to keep the same hit button. So we're going to declare that as an instance variable. Just a lot of, also this is on GitHub under Asher Siegel, so you can copy or whatever, use all of this code if you'd like to play yourself. Here is the parameterized constructor of dealer, and you can see that an instance of a game has to be passed through, which you can see here. Dealer new game. So when you click start or run right here, a new game will be passed through in the dealer class. Alright, let's get this show on the road. And here we are initializing basically all of our instance variables in the dealer constructor. So here, like, welcome to Asher's Casino. Here, that's right here at the top. There's just a bunch of stuff that here and there, Java Swing UI components. Now here we have the grid bag constraints, and basically this is just for the dimensions and for the location of buttons in different UI components. So what you want to do when you have I'm not really going to get into this right now, but when you have components, you need a panel and often a frame as well. So what you want to do is you want to add components to the panel so they will show up. And you want to set them if you don't want to set them visible, you're going to have to declare that below. And here this bounds method takes in 4 different parameters: x, y values, and also height and width of the different UI components. And here you can set the text to whatever you like of these components. And this is the big thing that most people often mess up on. And what they forget to do is they have to add an action listener to every component. So the enter name action listener is right here. So I didn't enter name, I have to enter real name. My name is Asher, so I'm going to enter my name. And what this action listener actually does is it's always listening for something to happen. So it's going on right now, and we have an instance of this being passed through it. So this current instance of BlackJack is listening to what is happening, and it's looking over if anything is going to happen through this game. And since something is going to happen when I press this button, it's going to perform a task, and the task of this, you can't see it right now, but we will go over it later, is that it holds that value Asher into a variable that can soon be later utilized. And with these, we can set the font with this welcome little title up there, and just a bunch of simple stuff. So now this set frame is also a big part of the game, and I have an instance variable of page number, and what it does is, depending on the page number, it's going to show and delete other items. So since page number is 1, all of this stuff is going to appear. And then when I hit this next button, the page number is going to switch to 2. So I did that. I'm going to select my character, and now it's going to go page number plus plus. And then when that happens, all of this stuff, the starting panel, all of this stuff is going to set to false, and then the second panel is going to set to true. And all of this, all of these components on the second page are going to be utilized now. So we can see gray, green, blue, whatever, purple. All of these can be utilized on the second page now. And let's say we want to play with $10,000. We could enter that amount. And these are just all of the simple components that can be used for a game like this. So now we hit next and we put in 10,000. So maybe let's bet $1,000. So now my hand value is 13. Let's hit. Okay, and we'd like to stay, and we win. So as you can see, here is my name, Asher. So I do Asher plus apostrophe S's character. That's my character, which I just selected on the previous page, and that is an example of an instance variable being stored and utilized. Let's keep playing. Let's do 500, and then let's lose on purpose, which we probably should have done because we got 21. So it goes down to 10,500, and that bankroll amount can be parsed and stored in a text component. And let's say we don't want to keep playing, then it just says thanks for playing, see you soon. Okay, add to screen. So basically, when no action is performed, what this does is everything is going to be added, and we can see that here. Everything is set and initialized, played for, and then run game. Here we go. This is the actual meat of the blackjack. This is the logic that goes into when you actually want to play blackjack. My name is Asher. This character. Let's go with red, and let's play with $100. So right now, nothing has happened, and let's say if this dot, okay, so this is where all the Java swing components go into matter. So if the dealer has blackjack, which it doesn't, or the player has blackjack, which it doesn't, all of this stuff happens. And then a variable down here, which is a UI component, Java swing, it's a text label. It says you and the dealer have blackjack, you push, which we both don't, so this isn't going to run. And then it checks about the bankroll. And then if the dealer has blackjack, it says the dealer has blackjack, you lose right down here. And then it resets everything. It takes the bet away from the bankroll. The bet is now 0. It updates the bankroll. And then if the player has blackjack, then it does the same thing. And in this version, you have 3 to 2 for blackjack. And then here we go for more occasions. So if I push hand and the dealer doesn't have blackjack, and the player doesn't have blackjack, then all of this happens. You pushed, no money was gained or lost. And then if I win the hand and both of us do not have blackjack, it just says you win. And if I don't win the hand and the dealer doesn't have blackjack, the player has some blackjack, then it says you lose. And then all of these methods right here, well, these aren't methods, all of these little instances, these conditionals are just checking to see if I have extra money in my account that I'm able to play with. So let's run one right here. I have 14, let's hit. 15, I'll stay. So the dealer ended up getting 21. So we're going to find the conditional that this applies to. So I don't have blackjack, the dealer doesn't have blackjack, so it's not going to be any of these first 3. And I didn't win the hand, so let's find the one that I lose. Here we go. It says I did not win this hand, and both me and the dealer don't have blackjack. So it shows all of these buttons as false now. I can't hit or stay. And it shows the question game. So it shows would you like to keep playing? And then it shows the yes button and the no button in the game decision. So it says you lose right here. That's the game decision. And then let's say I'd like to keep playing. So now let's do 90 and let's try another one. I have 16. Let's hit. 21. Let's stay. I win. The dealer busted. So let's play again. Let's go 180. Let's try and get to $0 real quick. Let's hit. Oh, Looks like I'm too good. 360. Let's go at it. There we go. Okay. So now I have no more money, and it doesn't even show the dealer's hand because I kept going and then I busted. So basically what's going to happen right here is that since um, my total bankroll is under 0, it's going to run this conditional since my bankroll is less than 1, and I did lose. These are under all of them. So you lose whatever. Great. My bankroll is less than 1, which is 0. So it has no money dot set visible is true, no money dot set text, all this. Would you like to add more money? If I press yes, then let's say I add 100, and then it's going to add $100 more to my bankroll. All of these are basic just methods to get for displaying text. Update bankroll, here we go, is the top bankroll. It'll show my bankroll amount, and then here. Oh, I got BlackJack. And then the bottom bankroll is my current bankroll plus how much I have, which is an instance variable and keeps updating. This deal start hand, what it does is it adds, so it goes dealer, or it goes me then dealer, me then dealer. However, it doesn't show the dealer's second card because that is how you play blackjack. When I press this hit button, it adds a card to my hand and removes one from the deck. Same thing with the dealer. Player blackjack checks if I have blackjack. Dealer blackjack checks if the dealer has blackjack. When hand, just a pretty simple method. It checks all of the conditionals and all the possible outcomes to see if I won. And let's see, push hand, same thing. If me and the dealer both have the same value. And then here, throw screen. This is another really big, just utilized method current that lets show if this dealer has blackjack. If the dealer has blackjack and the player has blackjack, or the player has blackjack, I apologize, then it's going to show all the cards, but that isn't an opportunity right now. If you go back in the video and rewind when I just got blackjack, you'll see that right here, these brackets actually didn't show, and it showed the other card because the game is immediately over when someone gets blackjack off of the first 2 cards. And here are all of the different opportunities that can happen. Since I didn't implement 5-card Charlie, it is possible to have 17 different combinations up to of hand size. So let's scroll down. In action performed, action event E. So this is with the action listener. What happens is that every time something has happened, an action event is sent through this parameter and into this method. And we create a new runnable and we run this method. So this get source method, what happens is if you use a title, like a tag title, the e.get source, what that does is it finds the source of the action event. So let's say I go hit, or let's go $10. Let's say I go hit, and now my value is 9. So what happens is the source of the hit button gets passed through, and then let's find the hit button. Or actually, let's just restart since we're already at the top here. We can do the first character pick. So let's say name is Asher, and we enter that. The first character, what it's going to do, it's going to set this character 1 picture to green, and it's going to set all the other ones to black. Same thing with this. If I hit this one, it sets this one to green and the other ones to black. And now let's say this is kind of where you have to build in that extra fluff in that layer for if something doesn't go right. Like if I didn't enter an actual name, I just press enter. It says, please enter a real name. So let's put in a real name. and that goes. And let's say that I try and skip to the next page without selecting a character. It says, please select a character before advancing. So we select that character, and same thing with here. Please select a color before advancing. Let's say we want to do orange, then that goes away in a valid bankroll. And that large number you see here, 2 trillion, 2 billion, that is the maximum integer number. So you can do 20,000, and that goes away, and we can play away. And basically, all of these, what this just does is this action event E. So when something gets passed, you can perform operations when something happens. And it's just basically a bunch of try catch errors as well, and just more stuff to make the game actually work. Like, let's show here, double down. Let's put $10 on. This obviously isn't a good hand to double down on because we have a pretty strong hand because we're close to 21. But if our bet times 2 is less than or equal to bankroll, for example, so if it was 15,000 we bet, we wouldn't be able to double down. So let's do 10,000. We can't double down, so it's going to check. It's going to say you can't double down. My bet is too large because I don't have enough funds, because 10,000 twice is 20,000. We don't have $20,000. So this is basically just the rest of my game, and yeah, there's not much else to it. If you'd like to play, you can always look at my GitHub. It will be in the description. And this is Asher Siegel's BlackJack. And I really appreciate you watching today. And thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed this video and learned a lot. And I'll catch you on the next video.